Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine um, a huge leak of documents. We're talking potentially bigger even than the Edward Snowden stuff.
Yeah, a massive release.
And these documents supposedly, pull back the curtain on some really advanced tools. Tools allegedly used by a major intelligence agency.
That's right. We're talking about the Vault 7 documents, the ones WikiLeaks released, and the source material we're digging into today. It claims these files detail a whole range of CIA hacking capabilities.
The significance, according to our source, is just huge. They describe it as possibly more revealing than Snowden. But officially, well, the CIA hasn't confirmed anything
Yeah.
or denied it.
Right, they've been silent. But what's interesting, Edward Snowden himself actually weighed in.
Oh,
Yeah, our source notes, he said they look authentic to him. He mentioned specific things like program names, office names, details he said only an insider would probably know.
so no official CIA word, but Snowden, who would know the landscape, thinks they look real.
That seems to be his take, based on our source.
Okay? And the media, they've been reporting what WikiLeaks claims these documents show. So our mission today for this deep dive is to explore what our source material says these Vault 7 documents purport to reveal, what alleged tools are in there, and why does the source think this stuff is so interesting?
Sounds good. So let's jump into some of the core things highlighted in our source. One big category seems to be capabilities that, well, frankly, a lot of people kind of suspected for years.
Right, that feeling of, okay, in this day and age, surely they can do X or Y,
Yeah,
and then bam, these documents supposedly surface.
exactly. And a key example the source points to is remote phone surveillance.
Okay.
The claim is that the CIA has tools to remotely turn on the microphones in cell phones.
Right, listening in.
But here's the kicker, noted in the source.
Yeah.
Apparently, they can do this even when the phone is powered off.
Powered off. Not just on standby, but off.
That's the claim highlighted in the source. It mentions this idea, this possibility, had been floating around for like over 10 years, for 12 years, really.
Wow, I remember hearing whispers about that. Tech insiders saying it was maybe possible.
And according to the documents, as described by the source, this capability appears to be in their, hacking toolbox.
Okay, that's, yeah, significant if true.
And it doesn't stop at phones. The material suggests it extends to other smart devices, too.
Like smart TVs.
Exactly. Smart TVs, they've got built-in microphones, cameras. So the documents reportedly suggest agencies like the CIA, and the source actually throws the NSA and FBI in there as potentially having similar capabilities could activate those remotely, too.
So your TV watching you, basically.
That type of surveillance is also stated to be detailed within these Vault 7 files, according to our source.
Okay, so that's one area, confirmation maybe, of things people worried about. But the source material also points to something maybe less expected, this misdirection capability.
Ah, yes. This part is really interesting. The documents reportedly show the CIA has acquired or adapted malware, specifically malware originally created by other countries. The source mentions Russian malware.
Hold on. Stolen or adapted Russian malware. So not just developing their own tools, but using others.
That's what the source indicates, and the alleged purpose is quite something.
Okay.
The claim is they use these adapted tools to hack into targets and then intentionally leave behind digital fingerprints, forensic evidence that points back to the Russians.
Wow. So like planting false flags in cyberspace, making it look like Russia did it.
That's the interpretation presented in the source material, yeah.
Oh.
It's not just hacking, it's hacking with the specific intent to frame someone else.
The implications of that.
Well, the source gets into that. It discusses the potential significance, suggesting that a tool like this could, theoretically, be used by maybe an insider. They draw a parallel to Snowden to hit targets like, say, John Podesta's emails or the DNC, and then deliberately manipulate the evidence trail to make it look like the Russians were responsible.
Okay, just to be super clear here, we're reporting what the source material suggests as a possible implication of this alleged capability. Not saying it happened, but that the tool could allow for it.
Precisely. The source highlights this as crucial for understanding how difficult attributing cyber attacks can be if these kinds of tools are out there.
Got it. Okay. So surveillance misdirection. Now let's get to what the source calls one of the biggest bombshells, if not the biggest one. This sounds serious.
Yeah, it's pretty stark. The source talks about car hacking.
Car hacking. Like remotely controlling a car.
Exactly. It details tools that apparently allow the CIA to hack into newer cars remotely and cause them to crash.
Cause them to crash remotely. Why? What's the suggested purpose for something like that?
The material claims the purpose is to carry out assassinations. Assassinations described as virtually undetectable.
Undetectable assassinations, made to look like accidents. That's deeply unsettling.
It is, and the source material actually connects this to discussions that started years ago. It specifically mentions reporting on these kinds of possibilities back in 2013.
2013, was that around the time of Michael Hastings' death? The
Oop.
journalist?
Exactly, the Rolling Stone reporter. The source describes his death as involving his car mysteriously crashed, accelerating suddenly, leading to a, quote, strange, fiery crash.
Right. I remember the speculation after that. People started looking really hard at whether cars could be hacked like that.
hmm And the source notes that from 2013 onwards, this idea was being investigated, and some industry insiders were apparently warning that it was a very realistic threat.
So the speculation was there, the warnings were there.
And now, according to our source material, these Vault 7 documents appear to show that this specific, very worrying capability was allegedly part of the CIA's arsenal.
Okay, let's just pause and take stock of what the source material is presenting here.
Yeah.
We've got these reported surveillance tools confirming maybe long-held fears.
Right, the phone mics, the smart TVs.
Then this alleged capability to deliberately mislead, to frame others using their own tools, potentially muddying the waters of cyber attribution.
The Russian malware angle, yeah.
And finally, this really disturbing claim about remote car hacking for essentially untraceable assassinations.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? If these documents, which someone like Snowden says seem legit, appear to confirm such wide-ranging and frankly audacious capabilities.
It really does. How does understanding these alleged tools change how you, listening, think about everyday things? Your phone's privacy, your car's safety, or even, when you read about a major hack, who do you believe was actually behind it?
The source suggests these revelations, if accurate, inject a huge amount of uncertainty into all of that.
Right. It sort of forces you to reconsider how easily, perhaps, things could be manipulated or faked.
The whole idea of plausible deniability takes on a new dimension.
Okay, so just to quickly recap the main points we dove into, based on our source, the reported confirmation of deep surveillance, like activating mics on powered-off phones.
The alleged use of adapted foreign malware for misdirection, for framing others.
And that really striking claim about remote car hacking, potentially for undetectable assassinations staged as accidents.
And maybe to leave you with a final thought, drawing from what the source material implies, if tools like these exist, or are alleged to exist, tools that can make a planned event look like a random accident.
Or make an attack look like it came from a completely different group or nation.
How does that fundamentally change our perception of reality, especially in a world so heavily reliant on connected technology?
It raises some profound questions, doesn't it? About what's really knowable anymore, and who, ultimately, you can trust. Something to definitely mull over.